There's a sense in both on the Jewish side, on the Israeli side, and on the Palestinian side, or to be more specific, the Hamas side, that there's a failure of humility, and there's a misuse and abuse of religion. Go to our website, which is evenlearningscircle.org. Go to Jewish Resources, go down to Parsha videos, and you'll find the source sheet right there. Beautiful day here in right now, broadcasting from New York, from Rockland County, on a tour, a month-long tour here in the U.S. And here we are with Parashat Bo. Let's jump right in with commentary by the Izhbitzer. The three final plagues of the 10 plagues. And the Izhbitzer asks the question, what do the three plagues of Parashat Bo, locust, darkness, and death of the firstborn, represent in human experience? So, and maybe at the end we'll touch a little bit on how does this relate to our experience of recent 3 months of war and violence and just unfortunate crisis and distress. השלושה מכות שבסדרה הזאת, הרבה חושך, מכת בכורות, the three plagues of this parsha, locust, darkness, and the death of the firstborn, parallel the three items in, he's going to quote Proverbs chapter 8, verse 13, and I do include that in the source sheet if you're looking at it. So scroll down to the bottom and you'll see the that quote from Proverbs, both in English and Hebrew. And it goes like this: Ge'eh v'gaon v'derech hara. So Proverbs is telling us that Yirat Hashem, the fear or the awe or the relationship with the divine, hem sinat hara, begins with the rejection of or the hatred of evil. And then it spells out what does evil mean. It gives us three items. Evil breaks it down to three categories. One is ge'eh. Ge'eh means basically self-regard or hubris, right? So when a person thinks of themselves or their gifts as God's gift to the world, which is true in a way, but taken with pride, with hubris, completely cancels it out. So hubris is one. Vegaon. Gaon is arrogance and disrespect. And he's going to elaborate on those in a moment. V'derech ra, and the evil path. So those are the three categories of evil according to Proverbs. And he's going to start from the last, going to the first. Ki derech ra, haynu tzarat ayn v'te'ava ve'ikshut be'achila. The evil path, meaning narrow-mindedness, desire, or cravings, ve'ikshut be'achila, that expresses itself in gluttony, eating too much. So it's a narrow mind and a desire, a craving on the physical level. Right, that's the evil path. Neged ze nitan lahem makat arbe. That is represented in the three plagues through the plague of locust. By the way, why he doesn't explain, but it goes without saying that locusts, they devour everything, right? Locusts come and eat up everything they see, right? So they're singly focused. They have a strong craving for food, and when they land on a field, they consume it all. There's nothing left. And obviously, if it goes, if you ask a farmer, somebody who makes their living doing agriculture, they will tell you that locust is the evil path. It's very visceral to them. Gaon, היינו שמתנשא נגד מי שראוי להיכנע בפניו. So Gaon is arrogance, haughtiness, and disrespectfully so. Meaning that one is being mitnaseh, meaning places themselves above or higher than those that is appropriate for them to subdue themselves to. Right? So that is arrogance in the face of natural or appropriate authority, like parents. Negedzehu makat choshech. And this is represented in our plagues by the plague of darkness. Kemoshe katuv, as it is written, and here he's going to again quote Proverbs, Mishlei, chapter 20, verse 20. And there it says, Mekalel aviv ve'imo idach nero, etc. And that means the one who curses his or her father or mother, their light shall be diminished, or their candle shall be diminished, to be literal. כי באמת אף כי האדם צריך לשמוע רק לאדוני לבדו, ולאב ואם אין באדם רק חלק קטן. I'm going to skip here. If you're following the source sheet, so I'm going to skip the sentence just to, he over-elaborates here, just to be a little more succinct. And he continues, אך כשהאב ואם ירצו להטות את הבן לדרכי השם, when the father and mother, and by the way, in my opinion, that goes also for spiritual teachers, for sages, for people that that influence us spiritually. When a father and mother are interested in influencing their child spiritually to follow the path of the divine path, the child needs to listen to them me'od, very carefully, and to subdue him or herself before the parents. And again, I believe that this is a dynamic that's very important with the relationship between a student and a spiritual master and a spiritual teacher. In other words, one of the obstacles for spiritual learning or for the relationship with a spiritual teacher is when a person is not able to relinquish their ego or their own will to a certain degree. There's a certain way of transmission in a spiritual relationship with a teacher, with a true teacher, with a with a teacher who's right for you, appropriate for you. One needs to surrender a piece of yourself. Otherwise, your light is diminished, or you will not be able to receive the light that is available to you in that relationship. Vigaon and arrogance. So the disrespectful arrogance that comes when a person does not want to surrender, that is what Proverbs is referring to when it says your light will be diminished. וגאה, היינו שמתגאה בפני עצמו ביותר התנשאות ממה שנמצא בו. And self-regarding or self-congratulating or pride, okay, means literally pride. Hainu, meaning shemitgaeh b'fnei atzmo, that is self-congratulatory to oneself. The ones has thoughts and feelings that are so self-congratulating. Look at me. ביותר התנסות מה שנמצא בו, and a sense of superiority because of what is found within oneself, within him or her. When I recognize a talent in myself, and I come to believe that the talent is my doing, or I take credit for it, and I get all proud of myself, instead of the reality that whatever talent I have is really a gift from on high. And so you see that the attitude to my gifts, my strengths, your gifts and your strengths, the humble attitude of gratitude and recognition that this is really a gift from on high that is meant that you have some kind of responsibility with, that it's meant to be shared, but it's a sense of humility that I'm only the vessel and I'm offering this gift that I've received from on high to benefit others. This gift is not mine. I cannot take credit for it, right? I have a friend who's a really incredible group leader, yoga teacher. Has been had a long career as a teacher, and she's universally beloved because of the eloquent way that she communicates when she stands in front of a group. And when I complimented her on it, she said to me, this is no effort. I take no credit for it. It's just me. It's just in my nature. That is a humble way of holding one's talent. And that goes for, that's an attitude that I admire, and it would go for any talent. Neged zehu makat bechorot. This is represented in the plagues by the death of the firstborn. Ki bechor leshon hitnasut, because there's a danger that the firstborn will put themselves above, as an attitude, above everybody else, the rest of the siblings. And in fact, it lends itself to that because the Torah gives the firstborn a special status. But the danger with that special status, the firstborn receives half of the inheritance, or firstborn is, according to the Torah, special privileges from the parents. But the firstborn is expected to continue the legacy of the parents. But then the danger is that the firstborn can also become self-regarding rather than humble and come from a place of service. These plagues represent or mirror the shortcomings of the Pharaoh, the arrogance, in other words, the Pharaoh here is receiving a taste of his own medicine, right? So the Pharaoh here is thinks of himself that he is the God. He is a God. He expects people to treat him as a God. He has a sense of that he controls and rules everything. There's nothing above him. And the plagues are functioning as a modifier, a subduer. So to the extent that each one of us has a Pharaoh within us, has an egotistic tendency within us, so these plagues are, represent the tendencies that we need to transform from a sense of superiority to a sense of humility and service. That is the spiritual path. And in terms of how this applies to the terrible conflict in Israel, there's a sense in both on the Jewish side, on the Israeli side, and on the Palestinian side, or to be more specific, the Hamas side, that there's a failure of humility, and there's a misuse and abuse of religion. On the Israeli side, we have our own extremists who believe in a black and white solution, right? That we have the right to the land, which I believe we do, and that means that we can annihilate, we can expel, we can abuse the Muslim Arabs, mostly Muslim Arabs who live and have lived, live in the land currently and have lived on the land before the foundation of the State of Israel. And that's an erroneous attitude. In fact, the Torah tells us that v'ahavta l'ger ki gerim haytem be'eretz Mitzrayim, love the stranger among you, or the alien among you, or the minority among you, because you too were a minority in the land of Egypt. Those in our community who have these extreme right-wing, nationalistic, and hateful attitude are not following Torah, are wrong. And then on the other hand, you have Hamas. And I think I don't need to elaborate. All you need to do is read the manifesto or the covenant of Hamas, and you will see the same extremism, worse, in my opinion. Idealizing jihad, idealizing martyrdom, being a shaheed, idealizing violence, and believing in the superiority of Islam, in the vision of an Islam that takes over, conquers the world by the power of the sword, by killing, annihilating all the infidels, Jews and others included. So in that sense, our Parsha, the three plagues, also talk to the terrible danger and terrible devastation that is brought about and has been brought about Hamas since October 7th, both the devastation of Israeli families, many, 1,200 in one day, and upon the many innocent civilians in Gaza who are suffering because of the war that Hamas has started. With that, I want to wish us all Shabbat Shalom and a real success in working on turning our internal plagues into light. Today, thank you, everybody. Again, click subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything. We really appreciate that. Like to have that extra layer of connection with you. Like and subscribe. Come back. Ayim rabim lo yuklu